This place, huh? That's better. Come on, you guys, I've got a surprise for you. Will you place right over here, sir? Yep. Here's the place here. Yeah, okay.
Wait for me, please.
What is it, Daddy?
Wait. Wow.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy your DR.
Northam Robotics Household Model NDR-114, serial number 583625. Hello.
Hello.
Are you one's family?
Well, I guess so.
It's scary. It's not scary, it's stupid.
I doubt that.
Ginny Harrison's family's got one. So did Kate McAllister. They're all the same. What is it? It's an android. What's an android?
Will that be one's name?
Well, why not? Sounds good. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, sir.
First, we must consider the soul. The Bible was originally written mainly in Hebrew and Greek. When the writing about the soul, the Bible writers used the Hebrew word nephesh, or the Greek word psyche. The two words occur well over 800 times in the scripture. The New World Translation renders them soul, either in the main text or in the footnotes. When you examine the way soul or souls is used in the Bible, it becomes evident that this word basically refers to people, animals, or the life that a person or an animal has. Let us consider some of the scriptures that present these three different senses. People. In Noah's day, a few people, that is, 8 souls, were carried safely through the water. 1 Peter 3:20. Here the word souls clearly stands for people. Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives. Exodus 16:16 mentions instructions given to the Israelites regarding the gathering of manna. They were told to gather it according to the number of people, souls, footnote, that each of them had in his tent. So the amount of manna that was gathered was based on the number of people in each family. Some of the biblical examples of the application of soul or souls to a person or a people are in the footnotes found at Genesis 46:18, Joshua 11:11, Acts 27:37, and Romans 13:1. Animals. In the Bible's creation account, we read, "Then God said, let the waters swarm with living creatures," souls, footnote, "and let flying creatures fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens. Then God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures, souls," footnote. According to their kind, domestic animals and creeping animals and wild animals of the earth are called souls in the footnotes found in Genesis 9:10, Leviticus 11:46, and Numbers 31:28. Life of a person. Sometimes the word soul means the life of a person. Jehovah told Moses, "All the men who are seeking to kill you, seeking your soul, are dead." Exodus 4:19. What were Moses' enemies trying to do? They were seeking to take Moses' life. Earlier, while Rachel was giving birth to her son Benjamin, her life was slipping away. Her soul was going out. Footnote, Genesis 35:16-19. At that time, Rachel lost her life. Consider also Jesus' words, "I am the fine shepherd. The fine shepherd surrenders his life," soul, footnote, "in behalf of the sheep." John 10:11. Jesus gave his soul or life in behalf of mankind. In these Bible passages or in the footnotes, the word soul clearly refers to the life of a person. You'll find more examples of the sense of soul at 1 Kings 17:17-23, Matthew 10:39, John 15:13, and Acts 20:10. A further study will show you that nowhere in the entire Bible are the terms immortal or everlasting ever linked with the word soul. Instead, the scriptures state that the soul is mortal, meaning that it dies. Ezekiel 18:4-20. Therefore, the Bible calls someone who has died simply a dead soul. Leviticus 21:11. Footnote. Therefore, even though Andrew was created, he was living and could have developed a soul. Since the soul does not refer to a separate entity, rather the phenomena of living in our reality. In Phaedrus, Plato, through his mouthpiece Socrates, shares the allegory of the chariot to explain the tripartite nature of the human soul and psyche.
The soul is made up of three parts: a pair of winged horses and a charioteer. The charioteer represents the logical part of the soul, which must control the chariot and horses. The white horse is noble and represents the spirited part of the soul, the courage, gallantry, and bravery, which comes from the heart. The black horse is ignoble and represents the appetitive part of the soul, by which we experience carnal erotic love, hunger in excess, and other ignoble desires. Driving these horses gives the charioteer a lot of trouble, and is only possible when the horses are working in harmony. The soul, when perfectly winged, soars upward and orders the whole world of the ideas. The wing is the corporeal element which is akin to the divine. The divine is beauty, wisdom, goodness, and by these the wings are nourished. But when fed upon evil and foulness, they waste and fall away in the sensible world. Losing her wings and dropping in her flight, at last she settles on a solid ground, in the sensitive world, and finds a home in a mortal creature.
Since Andrew does show these three aspects of the story, according to the allegory, Andrew does indeed have a soul. Dualism's argument for the soul is a philosophical paragon, and René Descartes is usually considered the father of dualism, as he presents some very ingenious arguments in favor of the existence of the soul as a separate entity. And perhaps his most celebrated argument, Descartes invites a thought experiment. Imagine you exist, but not your body. You wake up in the morning, but as you approach the mirror, you do not see yourself there. You try and reach your face with your hands, but it is thin air. You try and scream, but no sound comes out, and so on. Now, Descartes believes that indeed possible to imagine such a scenario, but if one can imagine the existence of a person without the existence of a body, then persons are not constituted to their bodies, and hence mind and body are two different substances. If the mind were identical to the body, it would be possible to imagine the existence of the mind without imagining at the same time the existence of the body. To imagine such a scenario, one must be self-aware, which Andrew is, again suggesting that he must have a soul. However, John Locke would argue against this theory. John Locke was one of the philosophers who are against Cartesian theory of the soul accounts for personal identity. Locke holds that personal identity is a matter of psychological continuity, arguing that both the Augustine view of man was originally sinful and the Cartesian position, which holds that man innately knows basic logical propositions. Locke posits an empty mind, tabula rasa, which is shaped by the experience and sensations that reflect being, the two sources of all our ideas. Materialists simply believe the idea of a soul is a bunch of boo hockey. However, if given that a soul exists, then Andrew, by all intents and purposes, must have a soul in his little robot heart.
Why do you want this?
To be acknowledged for who and what I am. No more, no less. Not for acclaim, not for approval, the simple truth of that recognition. This has been the elemental drive of my existence, and it must be achieved if I am to live or die with dignity.